Hey guys, it's Max. Welcome to a beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. Let's look at these Defiance funds, see how we're doing at this point in the day. All right, here's WDTE, also called JEPY. All right, Jay just sold 88 options on Friday, so maybe he's going to do the half and half thing this morning, where they come in and sell the other half in the morning. So they do that would be the Roundhill model. I wish they wouldn't do that. It was fine the way it was before. Anyway, because it's going to cut into the yield. He's already lowered the yield from 0.25 bips to 15 bips, and he said it's not really going down, and he explained it, but I don't know. I just said, well, it was fine the way it was. I guess it wasn't because it was losing AUM. I think it was fine the way it was, but I guess other people don't because it was losing AUM. All right. Well, anyway, they sold 88 options to the 57.46 level on this tranche. They're going for 151,000. If they start doing this all the time, I'm going to have to figure out a better way to do these reports. But and I haven't reset the earnings per share. That's still on last month. So also there was a dividend estimate yesterday. It was $1.80. I was running 223 on my estimate, so it was way high. I'm sorry I didn't have an estimate show, but I'm kind of glad I didn't since my estimate was way high. I got one of them right on, but two of them were high this time. And I got USO right on. USOY was right on, but two of them were way off. Anyway, so no show yesterday. I was busy. But I did like this. I'm gonna probably keep this at the bottom, this compilation at the bottom of the spreadsheet every day. But it shows you that since inception, how many up days we've had, how many bad days, what's the average profit per day. We're making 51,000 per day, including the losing days, the big losing days on this fund. So in any event, let's go over here to Triple QI. Now, these guys on the dividend, they paid $1.99. This says $2, but I think it was higher. I don't know. It's not that big a deal. I'm sorry I didn't have an estimate show. So these guys sold about half the normal contracts. They sold them at the 2050 level. They're going for about $500,000 right now. They're realizing 100,000. Here's their all-time stats: up days, down days. They make $93,000 average per day, including these giant losing days they have. So it's been a year on these Defiance funds. So a lot of these stats are getting pretty significant, or getting where you can, it's 67-33. You win about 2/3 of the time with these types of investment strategies, ETFs. That's the whole idea. All right. So now we'll go over here to IWMY. These guys, I was at 270. I was way high, and they were actually at 223 is what they announced. Like I say, sorry I missed it. Glad I didn't have the show. What they've done is they've sold half. They've sold a tranche of half their contracts. I assume they sold the other half this morning. I'll update it. But even though I don't have it now, it'll be updated by the end of the day show. We'll know what they did, presumably, and see how it worked out for them. All right, they're a couple of points in the money. They're trying to make 400,000. They're actually realizing 300,000. So, and there's their all-time stats. These guys are averaging 21,000 per day, and they only have a 3% total return. This is the worst of the three funds. It's done the worst so far. Now, this one's not quite a year old either, but this one started at a less advantageous time than the other one. So, all right. So USOY, darn it, I forgot to get the trades for that this morning. Let's go. Let's look at charts here. Let's see what oil's doing this morning. I'll have the profit box on here by the end of the day report. They had the 72 option expire Friday, probably worthless, and they wrote a new option, probably the 71 or the 70. We'll get a shorter time frame on here, see what the market's doing. Now let's look down here at Russell. This is what IWMY traders trade. Now, this opened low. It opened at the bottom line or the break even of the profit box. Within the first hour, it's back at the top line, which is max profit. So that's a really nice start to the day for IWMY. Like to see that. Hopefully they did sell puts. Well, no, you wouldn't want to sell puts right there, though. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what their strategy is, and then we'll dissect it. I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter. You just anywhere you sell puts, you're just trying to earn an income, but they're just trying to split it up a little bit. So if they sold some at the close, the market was at 22.23. They sell half their tranche there. Okay, remember when you sell, you're shorting. You're supposed to sell high and buy low. So the fact that it went against them, and then they sold their other half this morning. If that's the way they did that, they actually came out worse than if they would have just sold everything last night, in my opinion. Like I say, I don't know why they're doing this, other than that they're getting their ass kicked on AUM. I get that. All right. Well, let's look at the other ones. Here's NASDAQ. This is what Triple QY trades. Now, this one's not as bullish as IWMY. It's got pretty much straight sideways from the open. We're right about the break-even line. And then we have SPX. Oh, this opened low. It opened underneath the profit box and is now about to the middle line. Okay. So let's look at the buffer report for the indexes, right? You see where this one is. Okay, yeah, the new buffer report. Now the S&P is barely moving. Look at that. Let me refresh, see if we can get a better quote. We'll look at this, and we're going to look at Max's volatility model. I don't know why this is going so slow. Maybe the Wi-Fi doesn't reach out here. Well, it didn't really help much. But boy, I'd love to see when SPY-T is outperforming the index. Everything should be outperforming the index when it's not moving, though. Every covered call fund, every single one of these should. It's early, though. It's early. Look at old XTT. Now, they are probably getting penalized because of that, because of the gap down. They get penalized for gap downs, just like they get bonus points for gap ups. But it's early in the day. It looks like everything's down right now. The only thing that's up is the inverse Y triple Q. ULTY is up a quarter point, to be fair. Now, of course, clip. China's on fire. And then over here on the right, these are Maxi and YBTC. Okay, I'll have a longer video on it, but the volatility model switched back to bearish this morning, and I thought something might be going on Friday at the close, but I didn't catch it before the close, so I didn't say anything. But Friday, the market for volatility just absolutely blew up Friday on the close, and even though the market wasn't down, it blew up as if the market was down like 2%. So were the volatility traders trying to tell us something? These are people putting on hedges. Well, I don't know. Time will tell, but this morning's action, when it turned the shorter time frame from green to red. So what does that mean? So, all right, the longer time frame has been bearish since July. The shorter time frame turns bullish occasionally, which means the market's trying to have a counter trend rally, even though you really shouldn't buy it, because the longer time frame, it's probably a dead cat bounce or whatever. Well, anyway, this last signal wasn't that good. It made the signal at 570. And by the time it switched this morning, it was at 570. So it was not a great signal. So now it's gone from bullish to bearish. So, and since it went bearish, the market's actually gone back up a little bit. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But just something interesting to keep an eye on when both time frames are bearish. Right here, that was the condition in early August that was happening when the market pulled back so viciously. So it is something to be aware of. it also was double bearish here, and nothing, no sell-off materialized. So, you know, this is a trend following system, but it has to have a trend to follow. So when there's no trend, the system doesn't work. But when there is a trend, the system does work. But that's its limitation. So you have to realize that. In any event, we switch back to double bearish right now. So we'll see what happens. I'll make longer content on it if you guys are interested. But it's not only this measure of volatility, it's also this measure of volatility. Blew up Friday and actually got over the 200-day period average before the close. And then you look at VIX futures. You look at VIX futures, which is the third measure. I use three ways to measure it. VIX futures broke out like Thursday, maybe giving us an early warning that something might be going on. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But yeah, right now my model is cautious. You know, cautious in both time frames. Okay, cautious, which is a nice way to say bearish. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you for being here. I hope there's nothing I forgot to cover. I don't think there is. We'll check back on all these Defiance funds at the end of the day. And by then we'll also be checking on the Yield Max funds as well. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.